Pokemon that Zzweilous brought over and over. Let's take it off here, Leo.
Yes, Lickitung versus Shadow Alolan Sandslash, and it is the Powder Snow version, so this is much better.
This is good
for the Sandslash so far. Are we seeing a switch out? No, we are not. There is Gligar in the back. Of course, you wouldn't want to switch Gligar into this. But you also have the Dugong, which is actually fine versus the Sandslash.
And I think this is something P4T0M4N actually doesn't dislike per se, simply because if he defeats the Alolan Sandslash here, or gets it low at least, it won't be a threat to the Gligar in the back. So he's playing a line that's soft, weak to the the Power Snow Alolan Sandslash here.
Yep, and it is actually fine for him. Yes, you are completely right. The Body Slam is now going to come out. Sandslash will be able to take this. After that, you gotta be careful though, because the licks do add up and the licks will eventually take out the Sandslash. But you can get to 2 drill runs or an Ice Punch and a drill run.
Yeah, and you know, this could be a really good opportunity for the Dugong to gain some energy here, right? Because the Ice Shards are double resistant. Oh, gets one more Power Snow in. Actually, at this point, maybe even one Ice Shard will take out. And Zzweilous immediately responding, throwing the drill run here, and that's going to do some decent neutral damage.
This is a Shadow drill run, and also you can get the Medicham onto the Dugong, which is really important. You don't want to have the Medicham versus the Gligar. That is what the Sableye is there for.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see. Zzweilous was a little bit slow on the switch, right?
No, he was incredibly fast, actually. He was incredibly fast, maybe even expecting that there would be a Gligar in the back, because P4T0M4N stayed in with that Lickitung and not shooting that aerial ace here. That is I think that's a good notion, because the dig just hits way harder than the aerial ace here. Another foul play is coming in. Do we see a shield? We do see a shield here, Leo.
Predicting maybe a return, but also the foul play would deal a decent chunk of damage. And now we are going to see yet another charge attack. The aerial ace is going to come out. This is a smart shield, because this would take out for sure.
Yeah, and what do you do here as Zzweilous? If you go for the return, you might secure the knockout, but the Gligar might farm you down. So it looks like he is going for the safe play, going for the foul play. I don't think P4T0M4N shields this, because then an Ice Punch would knock you out. But let's see what he is thinking right now. He does not shield the foul play. This will put the Gligar extremely low. Looking at the timer, it's almost up, but aerial ace first coming in.
And I think that's why. Oh, he actually shields this one. I find this really interesting. I thought that he would go for a Medicham and farm down the Gligar with a shield for another aerial ace to have the dynamic punch ready. But we are actually immediately throwing foul play here.
I think that Zzweilous... Oh, another shield coming in. P4T0M4N thinking he might be able to get to another charge attack here. And he actually is able to store that aerial ace here, which might be very useful against the Medicham. But it looks like Zzweilous responded so fast that his Sableye is still alive, so it might be able to get a Shadow Claw in later.
Yep, this might actually be a tie in the end if both players are really low on their last Pokemon. We're going to immediately go for a dynamic punch, do not take any further Ice Shard damage, to maybe be able to take an aerial ace.
Yeah, I think Zzweilous just wants to get rid of the Dugong, and I think one counter here, 2 counters maybe, might take out this Gligar. Aerial ace is coming in. I don't think this will take it out, Leo.
Yeah, this is not the Shadow Gligar, and I don't think that even that could KO. It is possible, but we are taking a really solid damage, and Zzweilous leads 1-0, looking closer to a potential bracket reset.
Yeah, that's a good start for Zzweilous here, and a tough one for P4T0M4N. I think this is also how he played the previous winners final against Zzweilous, where he led the Lickitung and playing a little bit soft to the Power Snow Alolan Sandslash there in the back. So I think this time Zzweilous just read through that strategy and really anticipated well to that, thinking P4T0M4N might just play that safe strategy again. The Lickitung is just so safe, because even against the Medicham with shields up, you can just shield the dynamic punches, right?
Yep, that is really important in that matchup as well. If you have a Psychic Medicham, you might not want to shield the charge attacks, but you can still shield it, even though the matchup with Dynamic Punch seems to be so much better. But if everything gets shielded...
Yeah, really exactly, because the Lick Fast Attack from Lickitung is also super effective on the Psychic typing that Medicham has, and that's what makes Lickitung very neutral in that matchup. Plus, you have the pretty strong charge attack Body Slam, right, which comes out really fast, and that really makes it match up even against Dynamic Punch Medicham pretty okay. Now,
I mean, the good thing for Zzweilous is then that he has other hard-hitting Pokemon, and that if the Lickitung shields the dynamic punches, he has Shadow Pokemon that are free from shields. But now we are seeing Lickitung versus Sableye, the matchup that is feared by most Sableye players, and now we have Lickitung versus Lickitung.
Yeah, looks like P4T0M4N just went with the same line as in game number 1, probably predicting Zzweilous. Would never anticipate to him doing that, and it looks like he's throwing the Body Slam first. Is P4T0M4N going to stay in, or is he going to make a switch? I don't think he's exactly weak to the Sableye here, right? In the back.
No, not really. I mean, the Sableye is just rather safe still.
Yeah. It's very neutral, right? I think it's very neutral. And I think if P4T0M4N is predicting the Medicham, however, he might bring out the Dugong at some point here. But if he's bringing in the Gligar, then Zzweilous might see an opportunity to do it all with the Medicham.
I mean, if you are bringing in the Dugong now, then later on Zzweilous can align the Medicham onto the Lickitung to get a lot of farm.
Yeah, and another point is, at this point, so many charge attacks have been thrown that the switch clock already is about up, right? Yeah, look at that. The switch clock on Zzweilous is about to be up right now. So at this point, we can, I think, say that the Sableye is pretty safe from the Lickitung.
That is true. The Sableye is going to have a lot of fun there. Let's see how the matchup against the Dugong plays out, because Dugong has been looking fantastic so far in this tournament.
Wow, look at that counting. Just throwing right before the body slam of P4T0M4N there. P4T0M4N still letting this body slam go, not using any shields. And let's see who wins the charge attack. Birdie here. Oh, looks like he needed one more lick to get to that body slam here, Zzweilous. So he is not getting the switch advantage here. But what do you farm down with here as Zzweilous?
I mean, you can go for a really naughty Sableye Shadow Claw down, but I think 4 counters are still a really decent farm down.
And I like this farm down so much, because you come out with energy and you know there's a Gligar in the back. Gligar, P4T0M4N is using the shield immediately on this Gligar because it's double super effective. And it looks like Zzweilous is staying in for a little bit more, probably looking to get another Ice Punch off here.
Yep, and will this be caught? No, we are going for an aerial ace first. A potential catch on a Dugong with an Ice Punch would be really energy efficient, because the Ice Punch wouldn't deal damage, but then you lose the alignment and you have the Medicham in against the Dugong.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if P4T0M4N uses a second shield here. He can take this Ice Punch, and looks like he will. Ice Punch coming through, puts the Gligar quite low, and looks like Zzweilous is still staying in. Interesting. P4T0M4N is playing really secure here. He's waiting a turn every single time before he fires his charge attack here. Another shield coming up here from Zzweilous. What are you going to do? Can you farm this? Can you counter this completely down? I don't think you can. But going for another Ice Punch here, and this is shielded indeed.
And I think at some point you should switch out the Medicham, because there will be another aerial ace reached rather soon by the Gligar. And
oh, he catches
it!
Oh,
very nice.
That's a big catch, because you don't want to take the other charge attack on your Sableye. So now that is actually pretty good for Zzweilous, because aerial ace is the less efficient attack there. But now your Sableye has been chipped. In comes the Dugong. You can't get to the to the return before this Icy Wind.
That is indeed true, but I really like that the Medicham is preserved in the back right now, because every time there is a debuffing Pokemon, I want to have the opportunity to switch out my Pokemon that is going to get Icy Winded.
Oh, going for the Drill instead of the Icy Wind. And the reason why is because this attack is just slightly more efficient. But I don't think this takes it out, does it? It does take it out. I am completely wrong here. And can the Dugong get to another charge attack? I think he can. That's a very well played game by P4T0M4N. I think that the Icy Wind may not have KO'd that Sableye there, actually.
Yeah, and the Drill Run is definitely going to take out this Medicham, especially with the Gligar in the back. No problems there for P4T0M4N.
Yeah.
Evening it up, it is 1-1.
Yeah, what a well-played game by both sides there. And P4T0M4N showcasing his incredible knowledge on the Dugong, right? Going for that Drill Run there. And you know what's also iffy about that Dugong? Because you know that the Alolan Sensors runs Power Snow, it makes it much better, right? So that makes it more difficult for Zzweilous to even bring it, unless he really is targeting that Lickitung Gligar core.
That is true. It has its ups and downs, the Auto Snow Shadow Alolan Senseless.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought that there would be so many Dugongs in your way?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it. He faced 2 now, and 2 of them are the same opponent, but we have seen 2 of them on day 2 here. Yeah, Dugong is proven to be a very strong Pokemon one.
All of those Dugong are P4T0M4Ns.
It's true, yeah, but we also saw it win the Pittsburgh Regional, and that already was a good showcase of how strong Dugong can be when you don't have an exact hard counter to it, such as the Spark Lantern. The Spark Lantern, with that damage increase on the Spark, is even stronger against Dugong now, because you deal super effective damage consistently, and you live 2 Drill Runs from the Dugong.
Yeah, because Dugong is not the most offensive Pokemon, and Lantern is a super defensive Pokemon, as is Dugong, but you have the advantage with the same type attack bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's take a look at game number 3 here, Leo. And remember, this is a best out of 5, not a best out of 3. And we have a great lead for P4T0M4N, a terrible lead for Zzweilous.
And Zzweilous actually brought the Shadow Venusaur, so he is ABA weak to Gligar. He has 2 Pokemon weak on his team against the Gligar, and one of them was Matt.
Yeah.
Gligar.
And interesting here is Zzweilous seems to be too afraid to bring that Alolan Sensors because, again, P4T0M is going very weak to it, right? Against the Power Snow Alolan Sensors that would really tear through that Gligar Lickitung core here.
That's true. The licks are adding up. Shadow Claw basically dealing no damage whatsoever. Power Whip is going to be thrown right now. Is this going to be shielded? The big problem for Zzweilous is even if he gets the alignment back, if there is an attack unshielded, none of the Pokemon want to face the Gligar.
Yeah, going for that body slam right here. Does Zzweilous shield this? I don't think he will. No, he's not going to shield. He knows that he needs energy to take out this Gligar because otherwise the Venusaur is also very prone to it. Where P4T0M went really weak to the Shadow Alolan Sensors, it looks like that Zzweilous went really weak to the Gligar here.
That is true. Gligar is such a fantastic Pokemon. One of the Pokemon of the tournament. Absolutely. The Power Whip connects. We are at a half HP Medicham so far. Medicham is looking really good in terms of energy. We are actually sending in the Gligar and a Medicham that is at 2 Ice Punches. But Ice Punches don't even get close to knocking out.
Yeah, it does about just a bit over 50%, and Gligar is just very tanky. Going for the charge attack priority here, which Gligar wins, so the Aerial Ace comes out first. Does Zzweilous the shields? I think you kind of need to. Yeah, you need to. But I don't think you can farm this down before the Gligar gets to 2 Aerial Aces either, right? So what do you do here? This is a very tough position for Zzweilous.
I think that Gligar might farm you down.
Yeah. I also think it would have done that with the Medicham. So what do you do? In comes the Dugong, which has an interesting matchup here. I don't know how this exactly goes when the Venusaur has a slight energy advantage, because obviously this is going to take out that Dugong, I can tell you that. But I don't know if that's the same case when you are debuffed, right? I think it will, but then you need to manage your energy so well that you can get to another attack on the Gligar, and I'm not sure if you can because you keep taking super effective damage here.
That is already a lot of damage on the Dugong right here through those Viners. But look at this. It looks like it's almost getting farmed down here. We're going to connect the Frenzy Plant. Let's see if Dugong is really that bulky here.
I think it doesn't live. Let's see. Yeah, it does take out the Dugong. But do you lift 5 wing attacks? That's all you need. Yeah, I don't think you get there.
Looking really good for P4T0M.
Oh, he gets there.
Aerial Ace almost at the Frenzy Plant. You can immediately go for Aerial Ace, but the Medicham comes in. P4T0M turns it around. He is leading 2-1, and it is going to be match point for him now.
Incredible. Such a good prediction by P4T0M there. Just switching it a little bit up in his team and then getting the correct alignment with that Gligar and the Lickitung. I think that Zzweilous is just really afraid of the Dugong or the Deoxys to be aligned to that Alolan Sandslash, right?
Yeah. And rightfully so. The Alolan Sandslash is a Pokemon that can do so much for you as a trainer. But some matchups are just that bad that you basically lose the entire game if you find yourself trapped in one of those.
Exactly. Although I must say that if you have a lot of energy with this flexible moveset of Ice Punch and Drill Run, you can actually hit about anything. There is very little that resists the entire moveset of the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. So I think it does have some play, but again, yeah, if you lead it into the Deoxys, and on top of that, you don't even win against the Registeel in the 2-shots. That's something that the Shadow Alolan Sandslash with Shadow Claw can. Yeah. But with Power Snow, you lose every even shield scenario as the Sandslash.
That is really tough, especially since there have been so many Registeels lately. But honestly, we haven't seen so many on the field.
Yeah. No, I don't think that P4T0M thinks it's very good against Zzweilous, even though we did see it being aligned to a Pelipper earlier, but that was also a game that he lost. Even though having full alignment, the Registeel was just too clunky with his fast attack to, you know, properly take out the team and, you know, keep the alignment well. So maybe he just prefers the Dugong over the Registeel to take the role and to take out that Pelipper with that Pokemon. So I think that might also be one of the reasons. On top of that, one thing that Dugong doesn't do, however, is take on the Lickitung as well as Registeel does, right? So if you bring the Registeel, I would think that it's mostly for that Lickitung.
Yep, that is true, because Dugong takes super effective damage off this Power Whip. Of course, it can debuff it to the ground and not take too much damage, but this might be the last game of this tournament if there is no bracket reset. We are going to see a Gligar.
Oh, there it is!
The Alolan Sandslash, and that is the absolute best lead that Zzweilous can have. Let's see if he can keep the alignment going.
This is exactly what he wants, and P4T0M swapping into the Lickitung. Looks like Zzweilous does have the Medicham, but he's not falling for it yet. He is, well, I say yet because he might still swap out, but if he reads what P4T0M is doing, he might just stay into this.
Yes, he is going for the drill run right here. I can also see a potential play going into the Medicham after connecting with one drill run.
Yeah, possibly, right? Because you get the entire farm down and then you have so much energy for that Gligar. In comes the first body slam. I think at this point, the Zzweilous either throw the drone or go into the Medicham. Let's take a look. He is farming up more, taking another body slam here. This still will not take out. A power whip would get really close, but this is only a body slam. Zzweilous still deciding to no-shoot here, perhaps keeping all the energy or deciding to take out the entire Lickitung. Is going to throw 2 Ice Punches here if P4T0M shields, but looks like P4T0M is just letting it go.
Yeah, but this is rather interesting. This Lickitung is going to be taken out by this. No, it actually takes this one lick, and this is one more Powder Snow, one more piece of energy. And we're immediately going for a drill run. The alignment is being kept in the back. Zzweilous has the Sableye for the Gligar, and Medicham is going to encounter the Dugong. This is still looking good for Zzweilous.
Yeah, this is like a replay of game number 1, right? Except that then we had the Lickitung lead with the Gligar in the back. And we see, again, a really quick swap from Zzweilous. Finally, bold enough to lead that Alolan Sensors, finally gets the game that he wants here. In comes that aerial ace, and the Zzweilous decide to shield it this time. He no-shields again! He no-shields again! That's the aerial ace. That could have been a harder hitting attack here, but let's see. Going for the foul play again, going for the safer player. Does P4T0M shield? He does put up the shield. Very
well played so far by Zzweilous. I really like that he took out the Lickitung there, because Lickitung could have beaten the Medicham even if it used 2 shields against it.
Yeah.
Now we are going for another foul play with the Sableye. This is going to not take out the Gligar, but it is going to halve its current HP.
Ooh, throwing the aerial ace immediately. Zzweilous is going to shield that up. He realizes my Medicham can just finish it all as long as I take care of this Gligar right here and right now. So yeah, farming up more energy, getting more Shadow Claws in. This is exactly what Zzweilous needs. Going for the next foul play. I think at this point P4T0M is trying to wing attack it down the Sableye, but there's still one shield on Zzweilous.
Do you, before he gets to a secondary ace? Oh, he already is at a secondary ace. Oh, this is interesting.
Interesting. So you have to take one, but at this point also, P4T0M's shields are down. You have not debuffed that Medicham. You will get the next aerial ace off, which will do a good chunk. I think about 35% or so. But now you need to get to 2 Icy Winds or Drill Runs as P4T0M here. Do you think he can do that?
That is true. That is going to be really hard because there is already a lot of energy. This is a non-debuffed Medicham with a Dynamic Punch. The Dugong is under 40%. Are we going into a Game 5? We are charging up the Dynamic Punch. It is going to connect, and Dugong gets sent back to the Pokeball, and we're finishing this off with a counter on the Gligar.
Wow, what a game. We have a 2-2 score. Again, we're going to get a decisive game. Number 5. Those are my favorites, by the way. I must say, those are my favorites. We have seen some very incredible games here. P4T0M went soft, weak to that Power Snow, Shadow, Alolan Sensors 4 times in a row now. Now, here's the question. Are you going to do that 5 times?
I mean, you got to commit, right?
You got to commit.
He has a strategy.
So you think he does it again?
Yep.
All right, well, we'll see if Zzweilous is going to predict that as well again. If he leads that Alolan Sensors in the same position there, he might be very good there. But if he faces anything else, such as the Swampert, the Registeel, or the Deoxys, it might be very tough for the Alolan Sensors to overcome here.
If you are Zzweilous, would you bring the Alolan Sandslash? Because, I mean, of course, this is a tough one. You don't want to get baited into using it again, and then he's running triple strong against it.
That's exactly the mind game that P4T0M has here on him, right? What do you do now? Are you going to predict that he will do the same trick that he's been doing 4 games in a row now? Or is he perhaps going to bring that Deoxys defense? I don't think that we will see the Deoxys defense for one, simply because there's always that Sableye, and that makes it risky to use. But here we go. We have game number 5 between P4T0M on the left, and we have on the right Zzweilous. Lickitung into Medicham.
Oh, this is really interesting because, as we have already established earlier, this
he does it again.
The Dynamic Punch Medicham, and there is the Shadow Alolan Sandslash in the back, just waiting for this Gligar. Now let's see if Zzweilous can keep the alignment, because this is going to be really important for this matchup.
Yeah, going for that Dynamic Punch into this Lickitung. And previously we saw P4T0M double shield this Lickitung just to get the switch advantage there, right? And it looks like he is going to do that same plan again. I think it was a really solid plan, so why not? In comes the first body slam. Let's see what Zzweilous is going to do.
Yeah, the question is, if you let this go through,
he does.
Can you actually get licked down before you go to another Dynamic Punch or 2 more Dynamic Punches?
Ooh, going for another body slam right before the dynamic punch. Does Zzweilous shield this? He doesn't. He lets it go. There's no Sableye in the back to fear this Lickitung. Let's see what comes in. It is the Shadow Alolan Sash, and this is going to get so much energy advantage, right?
And I mean, even if he gets the Dugong aligned up against the Sandslash, that means there's Pelipper versus Gligar.
So the Dugong is going to come in. Oh, it comes in right away here. But you don't want to swap in your Pelipper here right away, right?
Actually, Zzweilous now wants this matchup.
Well, we will see, because this Dugong is a menace for the Zzweilous team. This Driron tickles. Well, actually did more than I thought I should say. But let's see what P4T0M is going to do. He's going for the Icy Wind bait. Does he know? He does not know!
Immediately shielded. This is also really important in this matchup, getting good baits. And now the attack is dropped. This is going to be something really difficult. We're going for an immediate drill run. Do you think he's going to farm up a little bit more and then tries to catch a drill run on the Pelipper?
Possibly. It is a very risky play, though, and P4T0M has been playing very carefully. But I think you get to the drill run on the Alolan Sensor before the Dugong does. So this forces P4T0M. Do you use the shield here? Yes or no? This puts you in such a tough spot. You cannot have the Gligar aligned here. You have to. Yeah, this is exactly what I meant. If you throw your charge attack before the opponent, you give them the choice of using the shield or not, and this influences the gameplay. Going for a drill on here. Does Zzweilous decide to shield this?
The question is how much energy is on this Dugong. This drill run connects. Does he have another drill run set up? No,
oh, tries to catch! He tried to catch, but P4T0M waited there for the Power Snow, was unable to, and now the Pelipper comes in to get the farm down. Pelipper is such a cool Pokemon!
It actually is. There is a body slam connecting to the Pelipper. It is not going to deal enough to take it out. Pelipper is going to get so much farm. There is a Shadow Alolan Sandslash with double Ice Punch in the back. Dugong is really close to getting knocked out, and this Gligar is not going to appreciate. What are Weather Balls?
Yeah, this is so terrible for P4T0M. And in comes the Gligar. The Weather Ball will, I think, does about 45% here, so 2 Weather Balls will take out. The Aerial Ace will not take out from here, so that means that Zzweilous is looking really good here. Pelipper finally putting in some work in this battle. Look at that. I think the next Weather Ball will take out. It's the charge priority.
And Pelipper is so incredibly good. Such a high attack Pokemon. Going to take out the Gligar from here.
Yep, that takes out, and I think he's 1 off. Oh, he's 2 off a Driron or Icy Wind here. Cannot take. He does take out the Pelipper here, but we do know how much energy there is on that Alolan Sensors, and it's too much for this Dugong to overcome. Ice Wind comes in, Pelipper goes down.
Almost at 100 energy, there is the drill run. We are 100% sure that this is going to take out the Dugong. Are we going to see the drill run connecting? Yes, we are. We have a bracket reset.
Here in Barcelona, Zzweilous resets the bracket, and we get another best of 5. Woo! Yes, this is what I wanted to see. I mean, obviously, I am very unbiased here, but I'm very biased when I want to see good battles. I want to see good battles.
I was really afraid that when I saw that P4T0M was leading 2-1, because I thought, oh, please don't let this be over already.
Yeah, but both players still can't take it. They have incredible runs here, and P4T0M has proven to be very strong here. But I think Zzweilous now has figured out his plan. He's figured out his game plan. The Shadow Power Snow Alolan Sensors might be the key here to victory, and he got the bracket reset doing so.
The adjustment with the Pelipper was just fantastic.
I loved it. I think Pelipper is a great Pokemon, and there's no Lantern, right? So you don't have to fear Lantern. You do fear the Reddish Steel, and the Dugong isn't exactly a great matchup either, but Zzweilous got it in such a good position after losing the lead with the Medicham versus the Lickitung, right?
Yeah.
In this case,
I mean, he got a shield.
Yeah. So what? This is actually Zzweilous playing P4T0M's game, right? P4T0M has been leading that Lickitung every time, just soft losing to the Medicham maybe, or getting switch advantage, you know, and then the Dugong will be safe from the Medicham, you know. I'll just get energy later or somewhere, or just shields there. And then Zzweilous pulled the reverse Uno card. He basically did the opposite of what P4T0M did. This time he let it go, and he farmed down with the Power Snows, with the Alolan Sandslash on that Lickitung, and that way he had so much energy.
And don't forget about the big farm down. He basically shared the farm down later on. He went, okay, I have almost 100 energy with my Shadow Alolan Sandslash, but you know, I don't want to be biased with my Pokemon. Hey, Pelipper, go in, do some wing attacks, and then you're going to be fully farmed up as well.
Yeah, and I think that the adaptation to use the Pelipper this time was a really strong one, because you expect a Gligar every time, so you know what? I'm just going to counter the Gligar twice in the back instead of with the Sableye or the Lickitung every time. We didn't have any of those in game number 3 from Zzweilous, right? We had the Medicham, the Shadow, Alolan Sandslash, and the Pelipper, and that was basically some sort of a strong lead, or sorry, a weak lead to the Gligar and being double strong against it in the back.
Did we already ever see a Pelipper win a Play Pokemon tournament?
Not yet.
That is that would definitely be. I forgot for a second that we have to talk here.
I'm a big fan of Pelipper myself. Right here is the Pelipper. Here is the Pelipper. And yes, I mean, I will definitely be using it in one of these tournaments myself. I'll tell you that. And I think its coverage is just so good, right? Only being really weak to Electric. It used to be even better when Lantern and Registeel weren't as good, right? Zap Cannon is, I believe, about a year old now on the Registeel, but before that it ran Focus plus Flash Cannon, which are both resisted on the Pelipper, and that actually made Pelipper pretty decent in that matchup. So that's why I think Pelipper still has a lot of play. Unfortunately, its bulk doesn't really rival Mantine, right? That Tomahawk UK used. The Mantine is much bulkier and puts up a better fight against Pokemon like Lickitung.
Yeah, but there is a lot more damage to be dealt with a Pelipper. You have the Hurricane, which is just absolutely hitting like a truck. It is fantastic. You have this spammy Weather Balls. You go 5 wing attacks for the first one, and then only 4 more wing attacks, 8 turns for the second one, which is absolutely incredible. If this Pokemon is charged up on a lot of energy, you can bait so easily, and Water is such a nice offensive typing because barely anything resists it.
Right, there's only really the grass types and other water types that resist it here, right? And the other water types is usually Lantern, but then you have electric coverage. So, you know, that you just...
Lantern is a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we have a bracket reset here between P4T0M and Zzweilous. For those who just tuned in, for those who missed it, we had an incredible best out of 5 that Zzweilous barely won 3-2 against P4T0M. So both players now again at 0 versus 0. Now, how do both players adapt? We saw P4T0M basically play the same strategy 5 times in a row, and Zzweilous figured it out. He just figured it out, right? So how are you going to adapt as P4T0M? I think P4T0M is the one who needs to find a way to the victory.
You know, I think I would just run the same line again once more. Once more.
Once more.
Hear me out.
You'll never see it coming.
Exactly.
How would they know?
How would they know? They're gonna know. So, you run the same line again, and after that, you go triple strong against Shadow, Alolan, Sandslash. You go Registeel, Swampert, and Deoxys.
That's what you would do?
Yeah.
If you were P4T0M, that's the line you would run.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see if you're correct soon, right? You were correct earlier when you predicted that P4T0M is just going to do the same thing. They'll never see it coming.
No.
Until he did. Until he did. Well, actually, Zzweilous didn't exactly lead the Power Snow Alolan Sandslash that time in the last game, right? That we just saw in game number 5. But this time he just adapted it a little bit, right? He went for NG advantage himself because P4T0M just didn't bring like his hardest Alolan Sandslash answers, right? We saw how much a Duron did on that Dugong. Obviously, 2 don't take out. But, you know, if you have like a Duron loaded already, you actually pace pretty quickly.
Yeah. And, I mean, you get it close to knocking it out with 2. Yes, the Powder Snows do not add up. It's like you're having half the fast attack damage output of a Registeel.
Yeah, it's exactly how it is, right? 1 damage there per Power Snow. And yeah, Lock-On is just a 1-turn attack, so it just goes a little bit quicker. Anyway, game number 1 of the bracket reset. Leo, we have Lickitung against Lickitung!
No, we are going to be in here for a while. Do you think that one of these players is going to switch out their Pokemon?
I don't know. Actually, I don't think both players are really being weak to anything. Other than, one thing that I do notice is that Zzweilous doesn't really care about that Deoxys defense anymore, maybe, right? We don't see the Sableye anymore, and P4T0M doesn't bring the Deoxys defense, so maybe you don't need the Sableye here. We see both Lickitungs just throwing body slams at each other here. We do see double water from P4T0M in the back, so P4T0M, I think, is very fine with this lead.
Yeah, the question I'm asking myself right now is, I sometimes forget that Dugong is also a water type.
Yep.
But the question is, what do you do with your Shadow, Alolan, Sandslash here?
Well,
you really have to hope that your opponent brings in the Swampert against it, right? Maybe you get a little bit of energy advantage from farming the Lickitung down later on if you lose that lead in the end. But, I mean, you want your Medicham on the Dugong.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Zzweilous is the one to swap out at some point, trying to catch a body slam on the Alolan Sand Slash, maybe trying to bait out the potential Deoxys defense. Looks like they're still throwing more body slams here. Yeah, I think Medicham really is the carry for Zzweilous here. Obviously, the Dugong doesn't want to face it, so that's basically one matchup that you can negate there with the Medicham, right? It's going to be Medicham against Swampert in the end. And the Alolan Sand Slash, I don't think it's exactly helpless, but it really doesn't do well against both Swampert and Dugong.
Yeah, helpless is not the problem here, but it's really unfavorable. Maybe you can get a cool shield because one Hydro Cannon does not knock you out. No
charge attack priority here, and Zzweilous wins it. Looks like P4T0M just letting it go, going for that energy advantage on one of his Pokemon. Let's take a look. The Dugong is coming in. I think this does get the full fire down here. Do you get to another body slam here? I think you are able to get to that body slam here, barely.
Yeah, you get to that body slam, but this is a Lickitung attacking a Dugong. This is not going to be too much damage. And have you seen how many ice shards that were?
Yeah, that was like, I believe, 5 ice shards exactly. So comes out with the Icy Wind, throws one of them, and this is actually devastating for Zzweilous, because what are you going to do now? You're going to swap your Alolan Sand Slash into that Swampert. This puts Zzweilous in an incredibly tough spot here.
I mean, this, you kind of have to, right? Because you want the Alolan Sand Slash against the Drill Run Dugong as well. Now you're going for the first baiting attack, the Ice Punch.
Oh, and it gets shielded!
That is already good for Zzweilous, so this he got that going for him.
But what do you do with the Sand Slash here? I feel like you have to clear your attack drop at some point, right? First Hydro is coming in. This won't KO the Medicham, but it will put it very low into the red.
I mean, Zzweilous does not know that there is Dugong in the back. Maybe he does not expect the double water here. We're going to see a charge attack priority event. I am pretty sure that we're going to see a shield from Zzweilous here, because you really want to get rid of that Swampert.
Well, I do have to correct you there. The Dugong threw an Ice Wind earlier, right? That was the Pokemon from the Lickitung. But in comes the Dynamic Punch here. And let's see, Zzweilous has one shield remaining as well. This Dynamic Punch won't KO due to the attack drop, but it is shielded anyway. Now the Alolan Sand Slash comes in, and this is so difficult. I think an Ice Punch with the Power Stones might take it out, but then you have to take care of the Dugong still. No matter what, 2 charge attacks are needed to take out this Alolan Sand Slash, unless Swampert somehow gets to a trying to catch an Ice Punch unsuccessfully, and this gives Zzweilous the opportunity to build up energy here.
And Zzweilous already has a lot of energy. The Dugong is actually already at half HP. It is going to be incredibly low after this one.
Yeah.
There is a lot of energy advantage on the Shadow Alolan Sand Slash. Let's see how much this Drill Run does, because this is going to be crucial.
Yeah, this is super effective, but I think this still gives Zzweilous a lot of momentum. Oh, look at that damage. But look, the Ice Shards are double resist. This is your only chance to build up energy, because you will need it against the Swampert. Going for...
Has to go for a second Ice Punch. This is looking good for Zzweilous. He has the second Ice Punch stored. He will hammer it.
I think he has an Ice Punch and a Drill Run. Let's take a look what he's going for. Ice Punch coming in. That Swampert is about at 40% HP. Going for the Ice Punch here. Does this knock it out? I was wrong. He did not have the Drill Run. So this is a good Ice Punch. Will this knock out the regular Swampert? Let's take a look and let's see it. It takes it out. That's a 1-0 win for Zzweilous.
That was incredible. We almost thought that the Shadow Alolan Sand Slash wouldn't do anything in this matchup anymore. And what did he do in the end? He completely swept with it. The Medicham barely did anything.
Incredible. Zzweilous teaching a mind joke how to play Alolan Sand Slash. A mind joke loves Alolan Sand Slash, but it looks like Zzweilous is the one who might do it all with the Alolan Sand Slash here, right? Because it's been so valuable for him in this grand finals. First getting the bracket reset, and now cleaning up game number 1 of that bracket reset.
And now we're going to see how concentrated P4T0M still is, because he lost a grand finals already. He doesn't want to lose one again. This is his home country. He wants to win it here.
Yeah, I think he lost 3 battles in a row now, right? Because he was 2-1 ahead on Zzweilous. Then Zzweilous won 2 battles to get the bracket reset, and now he's 1-0 down against Zzweilous. So yeah, that's difficult. We did see the change to the Swampert. P4T0M is probably not really expecting that Venusaur anymore after he brought the Gligar and the Dugong so often. Dugong still came back, but we didn't see any Gligar, and I think that might be because of that Alolan Sand Slash.
Yeah, the Alolan Sand Slash had quite some appearances here today, especially in this grand finals. And now the Dugong has looked annoying for Zzweilous, but let's be honest, it didn't pull through in the end. Do you think that he's going to shift away from it? Or is he trying to find other solutions on the other side of the Pokemon?
I think that the Dugong will make a return, but maybe P4T0M will try to put it in a different position, such as the lead, or maybe play a strategy where you bait out the Medicham with something like the Registeel or the Swampert, and then try to close with that Dugong, because the Dugong is very solid against Pokemon like Pelipper, Sableye, the Power Snow Alolan Sandslash, Venusaur, and even Lickitung is not so bad when you have shields up, because you can keep debuffing. So I think that the Dugong, no matter what, still has to play. I would not be surprised if P4T0M plays it in like every single game that we get.
I mean, it has been looking really strong, and I've already said it looked really annoying for Zzweilous, so why not search for other solutions other than kicking Dugong off the team that he's bringing? It absolutely makes sense. Do you think we're going to see Gligar again? Because Zzweilous always had a good answer to it. Yeah,
the Gligar is difficult to bring, just like Dugong. I think Dugong just has some more play against it Alolan Sandslash, right? And one of the strengths there is you only need 2 drones to take out the Sandslash, and the Sandslash needs 3 to take you out. But the Gligar just gets 1 shot, right? Even gets farmed down completely by the Alolan Sandslash. Even though you have Dig as the coverage attack, right, to hit the Alolan Sandslash back. But since it's Power Snow, I think that some Power Snows plus an Ice Punch just take you out before you even get there. So that makes it difficult to use that Gligar. Let's take a look at game number 2. P4T0M versus Zzweilous. We have the Swampert into the Pelipper!
Oh, that is an absolutely fantastic matchup for the Pelipper. How did Zzweilous read this now? There are Lickitung and Dugong in the back. Lickitung switched in immediately. There's no Shadow Alolan Sandslash anymore. There is a Medicham in the back that runs Dynamic Punch. This could be incredible for Zzweilous.
I think that Zzweilous is just going to chip this Lickitung a little bit and perhaps going into his own Lickitung at that point, and that's exactly what he does. Even though the opposing Lickitung already has some energy, that Weather Ball from the Pelipper does a little bit more damage that allows Zzweilous to secure the switch advantage here.
I'm gonna be honest with you. He should have maybe swapped the Medicham, because this Lickitung looks incredible against Dugong and Swampert.
Possibly, possibly. I don't disagree with you per se, but I think Zzweilous is just a little bit afraid of like a Registeel, right? If you are left with the Pelipper and the Lickitung, because Zzweilous is playing a very risky line here against that Registeel. He's just reading he's just reading that there's no shot there will be a Registeel, and it worked out so far. Even though this line isn't exactly strongest, he does have the Medicham. Yeah, but I think that might be the reason why. And since he does not see Medicham as a Lickitung answer, he prefers to bring it in here and possibly keeping it for a potential Dugong in the back.
Absolutely fair enough. And there is a possible Dugong in the back. So Zzweilous is going to keep the alignment here. There is a switch into the Swampert from P4T0M. P4T0M will now be faced with a Power Whip. Shields it up, which is very important, because otherwise we could already say goodbye to Swampert.
Yeah, Swampert is, you know, it's not exactly helpless like Gastrodon is, but it doesn't have a great matchup here, right? Weather Ball is coming through here, but everything that Swampert has is resisted.
Yeah. It still deals a lot of damage, and Pelipper is not necessarily the bulkiest of Pokemon. However, you just don't really want to face it here.
Yeah, 2 Hydro Cannons aren't even going to take out this Pelipper, aren't going to threaten it as much. And I've played this matchup a lot, right? I actually don't even like it as much against Shadow Swampert, because then the Hydro Cannon just add up so much. But from Regular, this is where Regular does not thrive over Shadow, because look, you still cannot much it down. What are you going to do? You still get taken out here. And you do win the charge stack priority. Looks like that Zzweilous is just going for a complete farm down here, or maybe deciding to letting it go.
Complete farm down is a wow.
He's letting it all go, going for the full Medicham sweep here. And oh man, look at this. We have 2 shielded Medicham against Dugong with 1 shield.
And the Lickitung that is really low, and the Swampert that is really low and had no energy. This Pelipper did not throw as much as I thought it would do.
Yeah. First Dynamic Punch is shielded. P4T0M is trying to make the most out of it, but this is looking so dire for him. He's going for the first Icy Wind. Very good timing there from P4T0M. And let's see what Zzweilous is going to do. You have 2 shield Zzweilous. Yeah, be humble, use them.
I was going to say, I mean, he has had a history in this tournament of not using shields when he could have. That was...
He's not doing that again.
Tomahawk, yeah, that was way too risky.
Yeah, another Ice Wind coming through. This is no shielded by Zzweilous, realizing that anything that Swampert and Lickitung can throw at the Medicham will do way more damage. Another Dynamic Punch coming in. This will take out the Dugong, and this is where Dynamic Punch really shines, right?
Yep. in the Dugong matchup.
Oh, trying to catch an attack from that Lickitung here, but P4T0M Lickitung still is forced to throw a body slam here. Look at that! Charge attack priority, but P4T0M loses the charge attack priority. Body slam is coming through, and Zzweilous takes game number 2 here. When the body slam goes through, we still have the Swampert, but I don't think it has any energy, Leo.
No, this is a hot streak for Zzweilous now, leading 2-0 in the Grand Finals bracket reset. P4T0M looks frustrated right now. He really has to get back into his focus. This is a better team for Zzweilous. He said it earlier. He said, hey, I have a team advantage. I was incredibly disappointed that I lost the winners final against P4T0M, but P4T0M is just such an incredible player, you know?
Yeah.
But now, I think he found a strategy that is working for him. He has found multiple strategies, actually.
4 wins in a row, Leo. It worked out for him. Right?
It's in his head. Look at him smiling.
He is smiling.
Already taste Honolulu.
Yeah, and he's been playing really well, right? I think this time the change to the Pelipper in the lead, that was such an incredible prediction, right? Because it does not match up well against the Lickitung and the Dugong that P4T0M has been using so frequently so far.
And that was just world-class play here. Which other player would have just let his completely farmed up Pelipper go down, knowing, hey, I can just go for a full Medicham sweep here.
But that's just such a strong read, right? Really hoping that there's no Deoxys in the back there, or even if it's Gligar, you can get so much energy on your Medicham there. So I think that worked out really well. Zzweilous had the scenarios in his head that could play out, and yeah, it led to a 2-0 win there.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic plays from Zzweilous, but we know that P4T0M is a world-class player and he can come back from this.
I would not be surprised if he does. He is, at this point, one of the best Spanish players, even though he hasn't played as many tournaments, right? He only played Liverpool, he played in Worlds where he did get to top 24, and now this is his 3rd tournament, basically. Right?
So far it has worked out for him. World's top 24 is also fantastic, but which fantastic player knocked him out of the World Championship?
Yeah, well, that may have been me.
Oh, no!
I may have, yeah. Before my own downfall, I knocked P4T0M down from the winner's bracket, and then Ishikawa Boy was the one who beat him in the loser's bracket, who also defeated another Spanish player, Andres, before that. So, yeah, Ishikawa Boy from Japan, a really good player, using very spicy Pokemon, right? He had a Purified Sableye with Power Gem.
That is actually wild.
Yeah, it's something you would not expect. And he also had the Bastiodon. So Caleb Peng, our North American co-caster, was going wild on that, right? He loved to see that. But I think now, Bastiodon is not really the play anymore, right? Might be Carbink, or maybe, you know, I think Dugong doesn't exactly fall in the category, but it really can make matchups just as tedious as the Bastiodon or the Carbink do.
I was gonna say, that is a wild comparison. Do you play Bastiodon, Carbink, or Dugong?
I wouldn't exactly
all
say it like that.
the same purpose.
But like, if you have a two-shielded Dugong as the final matchup, the final Pokemon to take out, and you've one Pokemon left, that's not a fighter, not a Lantern, you know, that does not look great. That's really annoying to deal with, right?
That is actually true.
Yeah.
That is actually true. But we are going into maybe the final game. It is match point for the title.
Oh, the
Pokemon Go, especially
the Pelipper.
Ooh, this is an interesting matchup as well. This kind of feels like the Registeel matchup a bit.
Oh, these are very interesting lines. A great change from P4T0M here. This is actually a very neutral matchup. The Pelipper actually wins this in the 2 shields, but you do need to land a Hurricane. First shield is going up in case this was a Thunderbolt and would one-shot that Pelipper. It is a Psycho Boost, so we will likely see a switch from P4T0M here into that Lickitung. Let's see what Zzweilous is going to do here. Going for the Weather Ball, and I think he's going to do the same thing here, Leo.
You think he's going to switch into his own Lickitung, or does he maybe want to bring in his Medicham to dodge that Deoxys? No, we are going to the Lickitung.
Yeah, he builds up more energy, and I think Zzweilous doesn't really care about the switch advantage here. Maybe he should, though, because Medicham is really rough against that Deoxys. However, this is his damage spawn. So in this matchup, you don't have to shoot anything as Zzweilous, right? He's already one shoot down. You don't want to risk using another one.
I mean, you know that you have the Medicham in the back and now also the Pelipper in the back as Lickitung is out on the field.
Yeah.
What is your plan against the Deoxys defense?
Yeah, I don't know. Pelipper, that's why I think he built energy on the Pelipper, right? To deal with that Deoxys later. And maybe he doesn't even want to go for switch advantage here, just so he can get even more energy. Now, one thing that we know is that there's Gligar for P4T0M, but Zzweilous might very well be predicting that that Dugong again, right? Or the Registeel, because Lickitung might be one of the Pokemon that P4T0M uses, so Zzweilous brings in the Medicham into it, but he's not doing that at all. In comes that Deoxys though, and it's actually really valuable for Zzweilous, right? You can get some really valuable chip damage here.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for P4T0M to think that there's something other than Medicham in the back, because why would you put Medicham and Pelipper in the back when there is a Deoxys defense?
Yeah, let's see what P4T0M is going to do. You kind of have to throw a charge attack at this point, and it is that full Thunderbolt he is going for. Yeah, I don't think Zzweilous really minds this.
Yeah, I don't think you need to shield here. I think you can just easily go into one of your two Pokemon and get a lot of energy off of this, or immediately throwing the Weather Ball, trying to get out a shield here, or maybe just get rid of this Deoxys.
Yeah. Oh, looks like P4T0M lets that go, not valuing his Deoxys that much. It's all in the hands of the Gligar now. And I think that the Lickitung also had some energy. Looks like Zzweilous still has his Switch Clock. I think he is predicting that Dugong. Let's see, the Gligar does come in, and this changes everything for Zzweilous, because now his Pelipper might be more valuable than he thought it would be.
Yeah, and now I know he only has one shield. He will have to use that on an Aerial Ace, probably.
Maybe, perhaps. Let's see. He's building up more energy, going for the next Weather Ball. Does this get shielded? If so, that P4T0M is so prone to an Ice Punch. So this is a very important moment. And he does shield the Weather Ball. This leaves it all open for that Medicham to hit an Ice Punch later, probably.
Yes, and we are going to see, this is still...
Oh, he does shield it, however.
This is going to take another Aerial Ace to get rid of the Pelipper. We're immediately going into the Medicham here. So what are we going to see now? There is going to be the race to the Ice Punch. We are going to see an Aerial Ace before the Ice Punch, and then we are going to have a Charge Attack priority event if the Medicham wants to go for the Ice Punch immediately. But at this range, I don't even think it would take out.
I think that Zzweilous predicted that P4T0M went into that Lickitung immediately, but he didn't. And now another Aerial Ace is coming through. I think Zzweilous still is predicting the catch, but there's no catch. Aerial Ace still doesn't take it out. Zzweilous...
Oh, he stays in!
It goes in! He still didn't switch. The Ice Punch, I think, will take it out. Is there a Weather Ball loaded on that Pelipper? I think there is.
That is the question. It does not take out. In fact, we're going directly into the Lickitung. Lickitung is at the Body Slam. Is there... no, we are one off the Weather Ball. We are one off. The Power Whip is going to connect. And P4T0M finally breaks his 4-game losing streak. Going for a 1-2 versus Zzweilous now.
Wow, can he come back here? This might be the start of P4T0M's run against Zzweilous. Losing 4 games in a row and now finally coming back. Zzweilous trying to make some really smart reads here, but it didn't work out. P4T0M did not try to snipe the Pelipper at all with the Lickitung. And, you know, I think I would have preferred to see Zzweilous maybe keep the shield for the Medicham and then just go for that Ice Punch. But maybe he feared that the Lickitung would get 2 Body Slams there as well, right? So I think that maybe got a little bit to him there.
That is true. We kind of forgot the entire energy on the Lickitung. That was a big factor in the end there. If the Pelipper was at a Weather Ball, one more wing attack,
he may
would
have
have won him the tournament now.
He may have had it. I'm not sure if you can wing attack down that Gligar, because it is quite a bulky flyer, right? But it was really low as well. So this really came down to some really precise, meticulous plays here from both sides. And P4T0M was just, you know, just playing it out, and Zzweilous was just thinking it through too much there in that battle, and I think that may have led him to that loss there, right? You might think, oh, my opponent is really good, he's really smart, he's going to make these smart plays, so I'm going to play even smarter. And then your opponent's like, yeah, I'm not going to take that risk, I'll see what he's going to do. You know, maybe P4T0M knows by now how Zzweilous is playing.
Yeah, and Zzweilous just played this was a completely different game from all the other games that we have seen before. So Zzweilous basically tried to do something new against P4T0M, and P4T0M said, hey, I have this calculated in my head. If we're not playing the same game as the games before, I can still beat you. And this is a very important moment for P4T0M, obviously, because he would have lost otherwise, but he can breathe through now.
And what another important detail was in this battle was the Deoxys defense. We haven't seen it at all in this grand finals, and now P4T0M, he had to bring it. He was fearing that Shadow alone Sandslash so much that he had to bring his hardest counter to it finally. And especially when the Sableye didn't come out anymore from Zzweilous, the Deoxys had so much play there, right?
Yep, that is true. I still wonder what would have happened if he just went for a Medicham into the Lickitung.
Yeah.
And then he had the Lickitung for the Deoxys defense in the back.
Yeah, the scenario may have been different. I think Zzweilous really, again, didn't want to have that Pelipper and Lickitung against potential Registry, right? Because one thing that Zzweilous is seeing here is that he might think that P4T0M4N is using the Lickitung as a Medicham bait out. But so far it has not been working at all for P4T0M4N. So maybe P4T0M4N is using it in a different way now, right? Just soaking up damage. And I think it just worked really well that he was able to get a shield advantage in the lead with that Deoxys defense against the Pelipper. Take the shield advantage, then hop into that Lickitung. They can take any damage, really.
Yep, that is true. That's what Lickitung is really known for at this point.
Yeah.
Just taking a lot of damage and throwing one body slam after another. Licks also do add up against almost everything.
Yeah, however, what I just realized is that P4T0M4N is actually playing a line where he's trying to bait out the Shadow Alolan Sensors with the Lickitung, right? So then his Gligar will be free. I think that was the plan that P4T0M4N had here, because the Deoxys could then clean up that Shadow Alolan Sensors with the double super effective counters, and the Gligar in the back might be able to sweep, right? If it wasn't for example, not a Pelipper in the back. Yeah, exactly. Pelipper seems to be actually a menace at this point for P4T0M4N. If you keep using Pokemon like Deoxys, Gligar, and Swampert, I wouldn't say Deoxys is bad per se, but in the two shields you actually lose you can lose that matchup pretty hard as the Deoxys.
Deoxys is really interesting versus Pelipper because you think with the Thunderbolt in your coverage,
yeah,
you just win every time.
Yeah, but you don't.
Pelipper is just so incredibly fast when it comes to throwing charged attacks. It is truly one of the fastest Pokemon out there. It's like on the lines of Swampert, and guess who wins the 1v1?
Yeah, exactly. Not just the Weather Ball coverage, but also the Hurricane that hits so hard. Yeah. You do need to hit the Hurricane on the Deoxys. But let's see. We have the Lickitung lead into the Dugong. This is quite favorable for Zzweilous here.
And we have the Deoxys defense in the back as well. And there is also a Sableye from Zzweilous now. Now, if we see a potential... Oh, this is looking really good for Zzweilous when I'm looking at those teams, because this matchup is actually a bit favorable for him.
Yeah, but I don't know exactly how this is going to go.
Oh,
one of the things that you need to keep in mind here is that if P4T0M4N is just going to stay in here, he does like catching charge attacks, I must say, but if he just stays in here, he might just try to win the lead here. Zzweilous is going for that body slam bait here. Is P4T0M4N deciding to shield this? He does shield! He shoots the body slam! Oh man, he is trying to win the lead here very hard, Leo. I think that is the plan of P4T0M4N here, and he wants to shield the power whip, but it was only a body slam.
That is very true. And also, even though P4T0M4N is fantastic at making catches, if he catches an attack from a Lickitung with his Dugong, then he tries
to catch, but unsuccessfully. In comes that Power Snow Shadow Alolan Sensors. It has a pretty positive matchup here against the Lickitung.
Yeah, I think that Zzweilous is almost always going to throw on misalignment with those licks, so you can't actually catch an attack. And now we have this matchup. We have the Shadow Alolan Sandslash versus the Lickitung. There is this plan of flipping in Deoxys defense against the Sandslash after the Lickitung goes down, farming it up, but Zzweilous is prepared for it this time. He has read the team that P4T0M4N brought in the last game.
Yeah, and I think as Zzweilous, you probably want to go for the switch advantage. I don't think this Duron will take it out. I'm also not sure if a potential power whip from the Lickitung will do enough damage here as well. P4T0M4N does let it go.
Out, in fact.
It does not take it out indeed. Power whip comes in. This might barely knock out the Alolan Sensors. I'm not too sure. Looks like he is letting it go. Do you get licked down? I think you do. I think you do. Yes, you lose the switch advantage here. But let's see. In comes the Sableye. And
that's triple Shadow Claw. That is such a huge farm down.
A nasty farm down here. In comes that Dugong again. But remember that if you get one charge attack off here, that what's it called? The Lickitung still has a power whip, right?
Exactly. And now you can always
shield
out when you get icy with it.
Going for the combo play!
The power whip is going to connect here. And after that, guess what? It's Deoxys defense versus the Sableye, the nightmare matchup of Deoxys defense. Deoxys defense is going to go for some counters. There's even another body slam connecting. This is looking fantastic for Zzweilous.
And P4T0M4N knows. Zzweilous is shaking his head. He's realizing now this is so good for him. The Sableye is going to devour this Deoxys.
Zzweilous can't believe it. He is not at a lot of energy. Those counters are just single resisted. There is a Thunderbolt there. There are win conditions for P4T0M4N. Zzweilous is going to farm up. He's going to throw the foul play. Foul play is going to connect. There are no shields left. There are 2 foul plays on Zzweilous' side. This is going to take out the Deoxys defense. And guess what's happening next?
Yes, another foul play for the Dugong
attack
here.
Priority. Dugong is at 1% HP. The foul play is going to connect. And Zzweilous, the German engineer, is going to win this game!
Zzweilous is is your 2024 special event Barcelona winner. Give it up for Zzweilous.
What a fantastic performance coming from the losers bracket after the winners final against P4T0M4N.